Hello there, my friends. It's been a little while, but my boyfriend and I have been gallivanting around North Yorkshire, having a wonderful time, very rich and abundant and fantastic sightseeing and lovely food and beautiful countryside, just fabulous. So I'm back. I hope that you missed me. I missed you. And I always like to have an interesting subject for you in these videos. And here is today's. Young or old, everybody wants their own way. I've always thought that age is an illusion. People say, age is just a number. And I think it's true. Because when I was growing up, I always wondered slightly at the idea that, you automatically have to respect your elders. And I thought, well, that doesn't necessarily follow, does it? Because if you've been behaving in a great way, then yeah, absolutely. Listen to, we call it sage old advice. But if you've been behaving like a wanker for 5-6 decades, well then that's more of a reason to not listen than just to take people, take every single thing as rote, as true. And often you'll find, it's not the case. There are plenty of, and I see many of them on Twitter, there are many really wise youngsters. And on the flip side of the coin, a lot of incredibly entitled older people, elderly, mature, whatever you want to call them. So don't buy into all of these kind of binary ideas that, old, good, young, bad, because it's not dealing in reality. Everything that I've been talking about recently, it's about living in reality, of being where you are. And one of the reasons, and I was thinking about this on the way actually, there are many reasons why my boyfriend and I work really well together when we let ourselves. And one of the things that surfaced is that whatever we do, we're committed to it, and we do it genuinely and authentically. And I think that that's something that's in, quite short supply, authenticity. There are a lot of people who are doing things for attention, and I think this is a massive modern problem, that all of the metrics, so-called, that we focus on aren't really the point. And my boyfriend and I, this trip, we spent an entire week together. And there was a beauty in the spontaneity of our behavior, but also, it sounds contradictory, but also in the little rituals that we have. But we go with the flow. And I think it's incredibly easy on the subject of everybody wanting to have their own way. It's very easy to fall into the trap of thinking that you have all of the answers to life. And I think it's a surefire way to head to a very tyrannical and destructive end. And actually there was somebody that tweeted earlier on today to remind you that you can build and build and build and build and build, but don't factor in time for rest and recuperation. And I remarked on, many years ago, I gave affiliate marketing a try. And there was somebody who I was friends with at the time who had been mentored by somebody who had worked himself so hard and so relentlessly into the ground that he actually ended up with terminal cancer. And he wasn't very old. Can't remember exactly how old he was, but early 50s. And he had a beautiful wife, American. He had a beautiful wife, lovely children, a fantastic house, all of the trappings. But he'd been so relentless that the way that he was doing things was absolutely right. It ended up destroying him. And I am absolutely all for learning, from people, listening, paying attention. But it doesn't mean that you have to take on absolutely everything that people say or do, because actually it's the doing that matters. I very rarely listen to what people say now because it's usually empty. But I want to impress upon you again, as I have done many times before, that it is your life and you get to decide how to live it. And I have to say, I have been extraordinarily paranoid about various things and people in my life. And it's such a waste of time because people are going to do what they're going to do anyway, regardless of you. And I know it sounds a bit bleak, but I don't see it that way anymore. The way that I actually see things now is that when somebody is coming full throttle at you in some kind of, verbal attack, I just think that says far more about them than it does about me. So paranoia, the joke is, the beautiful thing about paranoia is knowing somebody's always thinking about you. And the first time I heard that, I thought, that's witty, that's clever. But you don't have to live that way, like you're always constantly being watched. Watch your own thinking. Don't fall into the traps that most people fall into, and live your life in as joyful and as peaceful a way as you can, and realize that what might feel like a really major event when somebody comes at you, it actually very rarely matters at all.